Let's go overseas now. The US is gearing up for the fourth Republican debate, and it's scheduled for the 6th of December in Alabama. Only 4 candidates who participated in last week's debate are still in the race. This after Tim Scott withdrew his presidential bid. Joining me live is former White House Chief of Staff and now partner of Bondi Partners consultant Mick Mulvaney. Great to see you. Tim Scott, he was the hope of the side at one time, wasn't he?
He really was. And it was a disappointment to see him go out as early as he did. By the way, it came as a big surprise, Laura, to a bunch of people. I've talked to Tim regularly. I had no idea. He was on a program hosted on Fox News with another friend of ours when he made the announcement. And the host of that show didn't have any idea. In fact, we hear now that only 1 or 2 people in Tim's entire campaign knew that he was going to be standing down when he did. So it came as a surprise. It also came with a lot of money in the bank, which means that he might well be positioning himself for a race in 2028. But clearly, there was no support for him this year. And I think he made the right decision.
Yeah, and on his way out, he endorsed who?
Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. It took a few of us here in South Carolina by surprise because I'm from South Carolina, Tim Scott is from South Carolina, and Nikki Haley is the former governor of South Carolina. And Nikki Haley was actually the governor who appointed Tim Scott to the United States Senate when the previous senator retired. So one would think that maybe Nikki Haley would have the inside track to get Tim Scott's endorsement. That didn't happen. He endorsed Ron DeSantis this week, and we're looking to, I think, campaign for him on the road in Iowa and New Hampshire as well.
Yeah, Mick, these debates are happening, of course, in a Trump-free vacuum in a way. So I wonder what the point is in one sense. But with polling with these 4 candidates now, is it shifting at all?
It is. I think Nikki Haley is plateauing. But you're right. I've never heard the term, Trump-free zone, but that's essentially what it is. And what they're doing, Laura, is making the case that if something were to happen to Donald Trump, either he gets hit by an asteroid or more likely ends up sitting in jail, that maybe at that point, the Republican primary electorate, the voters in the Republican primary might say, you know what, as much as we like Donald Trump, he can't win while he's sitting in jail. So maybe we'll go support Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley. The difficulty with that argument is that our court system is relatively slow here, and the chances of Donald Trump actually being convicted before he merits enough support for the Republican nomination is almost zero. So it's more likely that regardless of the criminal investigations, Trump is going to be the Republican nominee.
Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about Joe Biden once again. It's summit season, of course. He's been hosting that summit in San Francisco. And I note that there was a lot of online chatter about, some footage that emerged of him sitting in the crowd. And once again, his age coming up. And I noted it's his birthday today. I think he's 80.
Yeah, I think that it's either today or tomorrow, depending upon what day it is there and what day it is here. But I think he's 81, as of today. So yeah, it was generally a good conference for him. President Xi came to this conference. It was not a summit with the Chinese. It was an Asian Pacific get-together. And Xi was relatively contrite and had a chance to have some really meaningful conversations. You get the sense that the Chinese are interested in sort of improving the relations with the West, including the United States. That being said, the takeaway politically is the gaffes that Biden committed during this particular event. Not, again, knowing where to get off a stage, not knowing to shake hands with, who he's talking to, where he is. Those types of things simply compounded again and again. It's one of the reasons he's losing not only to Donald Trump, Laura, in a theoretical matchup, but he's losing to Ron DeSantis, and he's losing to Nikki Haley, and even to Chris Christie in some polling. So he's not doing well against any of the potential Republican candidates.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, we'll leave on this note and a tribute to Rosalind Carter. She's died overnight, and certainly a partnership. Yeah, her and Jimmy Carter, certainly a massive, incredible partnership during his time in office.
It is. In a business like this, when we tend to focus on scandal and so forth and people misbehaving, to have a couple that was happily married for, I think it was more than 75 years, I think that's wonderful. So I did not realize she'd passed away. So we certainly our condolences to the family. My guess is her husband is not far behind. He's been in hospice, I think, now several months. So my guess is that the two of them may go together, which is not a bad way to go out if you stop to think about it.
No, sorry to break the news to you, Mick. Certainly a day that we can reflect on that partnership. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Laura.